Hello there, and welcome to my series of videos on my book Philosophizer's Bible. We've reached chapter 17, which means we are just over halfway through the book, and I want to thank all the people who've followed these videos, and I do hope that you stay through to the end, because we've still got lots more to do. This chapter is called The Locked Corridor, and it's actually based on a video I did over 5 years ago called Reality, the Locked Corridor. You can look it up. And it's based, that idea, that video, originally came to me from an idea that my daughter had, that I was stuck on a corridor, and on one side was the door of science and the other side was the door of religion, and there was no way out of the corridor, and I still feel that to be the case, that science, with its promises of explaining the universe, has failed. In fact, it cannot succeed in its aim, because all science can do is put forward theories, and religion, the claims of religion, are dubious at best. And yet there is this stubborn belief that there's something, there's some ultimate core to being, something that we can never know. And the question is, what do you say about it? What do you think about it? What kind of attitude, what kind of mental attitude should you take when you realize this is the case? So I guess that's really what this chapter is about. And I call this thing the core, because it's something that you get to by going inward. It isn't up there, it isn't in heaven somewhere, it isn't transcendent in the sense of, way beyond. It's inside the very reality that we inhabit. It's at its core. And it's unknowable. And it's very hard to accept that, embrace that idea. But it's the only sane option, in my view. Locked corridor. What do you do when you're in pursuit of reality, when religion doesn't satisfy you, when science doesn't satisfy you? There is nothing to do but look for something else. You don't know, you have no idea what you're looking for, but that doesn't matter. You have to keep looking in every nook and cranny. Keep going backward and forward. It doesn't matter how many times you cover the same ground. Let others puzzle over your actions. Ignore them when they offer help. They're no help to you. You know exactly where that help is coming from. They would kill you with their help. Imagine you are stuck in a corridor. On one side is the door of science. On the other side is the door of religion. And there's no way out of the corridor, no stairs up or down, no window at either end, just bare walls. You have no idea or can't remember how you got here. What now? Although you already know it's going to be a waste of time, you open the door of science, just a crack, and look in. The white-coated scientists are busy, busy, busy. No way! Then you open the door of religion. White-coated priests are chanting piously. One casts a sideways glance at you. No way! No way! You're stuck. How are you going to escape? Hang on, I've seen this film before. It's a familiar trope from sci-fi and action movies, or video games. I talked about video games in Philosophizer. I'm not going to say more about that now. Love Doom. You stomp around a bit until you find a loose floorboard. Then you just pull. Out in a jiffy. Or you try the ceiling. Maybe it's a false ceiling. It's bound to be one or the other. Or else. How about this? You are really stuck. You will be here for a long time. Maybe forever. Deal with it. Live with it. From now on, this will be your home, living in a narrow corridor with one dim tungsten light. Corridor life. How did I get here? You already asked that question, so don't be boring, for God's sake. It doesn't matter how you got here, does it, really? I haven't altogether given up hopes of escape. But meanwhile, while I wait and wait, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to sing and dance and stamp until the priests and scientists can't stand the noise any longer. I'm going to make their lives a misery. No mercy, no compunction. They're only zombies after all. And apart from dancing and stamping, how am I going to keep myself occupied while I wait here? What is the task? To find words. What else is there? I'm not into meditation and all that Eastern palaver. I'm looking for words, any words. Words that shed light, even if only a very dim light, on how things are at the core. I accept that there are things I can never know, but one thing I do know is that there is a core. There is such a thing as reality. There can't be an infinite progression inward. Maybe there is no reason, nothing that would satisfy the demand for a logical explanation. Maybe there is a reason that we will never understand because we humans are just too stupid. But the core is the core. Without a core, nothing can be. The words you're looking for. Isn't that just another version of the family story? If you want to be told a story to send you to sleep, then just sleep. This is about not wanting to go to sleep, ever. I've slept long enough. Now I'm wide awake, on my toes, waiting for something. I don't know what. This is ridiculous. Are you seriously saying you're expecting something to come, but you don't have a clue what it is? Is it a bus, perhaps? Or a fire-breathing dragon? Or a plate of spaghetti? That's from Philosophizer, the colour black. Something to come, something to come, something to come. Say it quickly and it sounds like a train going down the track, the death train, the train to Auschwitz. Amidst all the worry and confusion, where are we going? What is going to happen to us? I'm hungry, when are we going to eat? You are the one person. The one in the carriage, the only one in the carriage who knows. In a dream, you've seen it all. SS troops with machine guns and barking dogs, the screams, the last desperate scramble of the dying, beating on the doors and ceilings of the gas chambers. This is reality. Don't talk to me about your wonderful world. But what I really mean is simply this. Death is death, and death comes to us all. It's really not that important how or when it comes. We are all on the death train. Death will not bring you illumination. Death is the end of any possibility of illumination, because you are no more. But isn't that just another family story? Talk about death too much and you're in danger of sounding romantic. A beautiful death. He died for his country. Poems about angels and heaven on gravestones. Gone to be a sunbeam, said of a little girl, the third in her family to die of scarlet fever. You can't take away scarlet fever. It's one of the brushstrokes that makes the great artwork of creation. The core. That's so much more pregnant of meaning than the lame phrase, ultimate reality, and more truthful. We are not going ever higher, we are going deeper, down to the depths, the unutterable depths. How do you get down there? It's a knack, nothing more. Solving a Rubik's Cube, there's a way to do it. Flicking your brain, just so, there's a way to do that too. There isn't far to go. It isn't a long journey, not even down in any meaningful sense. This is about seeing, flicking your brain so you can see things differently. Maybe only a tiny bit differently. Maybe that would be enough. You believe in the world. You believe in ordinary things. Your mind and senses are stuffed with ordinary things. Even if you're a researcher in the Large Hadron Collider, that's just more play, math games, logic games, staring at equations on a screen. It isn't real. You're nowhere near the core. How do I know? I know. Or say you're in a different kind of cathedral, a real cathedral, gazing up at the sun pouring through beautiful stained glass windows, chanting your prayers, swinging your basket of incense. Ordinary things. An Aboriginal shaman on walkabout in the Australian outback is closer to the core than you'll ever be. He's not distracted as you are. His focus is steady, his gaze penetrating. He knows the truth about this world, that all senses can convey is nothing but a dream. All your thoughts and sensations, your emotions, your reasonings are part of that same dream. The harder you try to escape the dream, the more enmeshed you are in it. But to know that it is nothing but a dream, to see it as a dream, that is something you can learn. The people who inhabit the great cathedrals of science, like the Large Hadron Collider, or who visit cathedrals, are impressed by the stained glass windows. They imagine all sorts of things, they believe all sorts of things, but they are still totally enmeshed and tangled with the mundane world. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I talked about pictures in the brain. And the philosopher Xenophanes, who I've also mentioned, talks about this too. Human beings love to construct theories, love to imagine all sorts of things. And when they create a god in their own image, and they imagine that too. You are stuck in the world. That's the point. For all your imagining, you're still stuck in the world. And what you have to do is learn to shake yourself loose from it. Learn to realize that mundane reality, all this, is not reality, not real reality. There's something more, something that you can never know, perhaps. Because I can't say that dogmatically, can I? There is a core. And anyone who comes to you and tells you that they know what it is a liar. Or maybe they're just deceiving themselves. Anyone who thinks they've got the final story, the final explanation, is just wrong. And whether it's Stephen Hawking or the Pope or whatever. It's what we human beings are like. You know, we have to have something to cling to. It's very difficult to let go. But you have to learn to let go of the world. I guess I have to end there. Thanks.